Okay, so now we're going to talk about what it means to solve a triangle and how we can use trigonometry over here to help us. Okay, so to solve a triangle, right, it means what we're going to do is find every unknown. Okay, but for right now, let's just start with the easy stuff. If this angle's 56, then we know what this angle has to be, right? It has to be 34. Okay, let's try and find x right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is follow these steps. So the first thing is we need to determine the ratio. Okay, so we have this angle, we want to know the opposite, and we have the hypotenuse. So we have to look over here and think, okay, which one should we use? And we should use sine. We should use sine because the sine of 56 in this case is the opposite, x, over the hypotenuse, 15. Okay? When we do this, next thing we're going to do, or we wrote the equation, so we determined to use sine, we wrote the equation. We're now going to evaluate this function on the calculator, which means we're going to, whatever calculator you're going to use, you're going to figure out what the sine of 56 is. It should be 0.8290. Notice I'm going to 4 decimal places, equals x over 15. Now I need to solve that. The way I'm going to solve this is multiply both sides by 15, 0.8290 equals x. Do the multiplication on your calculator, and you should get 12.43. Okay, so in this case, this side, x, is 12.43. You can take a second and think about, does it make sense, in case you've done something wrong, right? 15 is the hypotenuse, so it's got to be the longest side. 12.43 is less than that. That makes sense. To find this side, which we're not going to do right now, you can either do this trig stuff all over again, or you can use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, we're going to try another example. We're just going to find x. I mean, we can always find this angle up here, which is 25 degrees. That should be straightforward. Okay, so we got to first think about what ratio are we going to use. So here we are, we have our angle, we want the adjacent, we have the hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to use cosine. So we're going to say the cosine of 65 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, so we've picked the ratio, we've written the equation. We're now going to evaluate on the calculator what the cosine of 65 is, 0.9063, x over 5. Now we did that, now we're going to solve appropriately. 5 times 0.9063 is equal to x. When you do that, you get 4.53. Okay, so this side is going to be 4.53. Perfect. Okay, examples, because we're going to do things that get a little different. So, again, we can always figure this out, right? This is going to be 47 degrees. Okay, but anyway, we have this angle. We have the opposite. We need the hypotenuse, or the adjacent, sorry. We have the opposite. We need the adjacent. Opposite and adjacent here at tangent. So we're going to say the tangent of 43 is equal to x over 7. Right? Oh, no, we're not going to say that at all. My fault. We're going to say it's 7 opposite over adjacent. Okay? So we've determined, we've written. We're now going to evaluate this function. The tangent of 43 is 0.9325, which is equal to 7 over x. So now to solve this, we're going to multiply by x, and this is what we're going to get times that. So now we need to divide. So if we do 7 divided by 0.9325 on the calculator, we're going to get x is equal to 7.51. Okay, and again, we can think about, does it make sense that this side, whoops, I apologize, I did not mean to erase that. Okay, does it make sense that this side, 7.51, is longer than this 7? And it does, because 47 is bigger than 43. Move on to try some of these on our own in the homework. Okay, so here we are. We have 58. We want opposite. We have hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to use sine, opposite and hypotenuse. So sine of 58 is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Sine of 58 is 0.8480 on your calculator. Multiply by 10. Because multiplying by 10 is easy, I'm going to do this in my head. And we are done.